ng pagsasaka ay handa tayo kasi mayroon na tayong plano, directional plan to handle these big challenges.
The DEA cited the impact of the pandemic, the ongoing Ukraine-Russia war, and rising oil prices as factors driving food instability. Agriculture Secretary William Dar said the food crisis may start to be felt in July.
Makita mo naman yung import-oriented, hindi naman bumaba yung presyo ng bigas natin. Doon sa merkado, doon sa retail price, hindi rin bumaba yung pork natin, ang chicken natin, hindi rin bumaba, tumas na. So hindi talaga dahil dun sa importation, bababa yung presyo.
The economic slump resulting from the COVID-19 pandemic and the surge of oil prices due to the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict may cause a global food crisis, according to the Agriculture Department. Is the Philippines prepared for this challenge? We discuss in this episode of The Chiefs. We will be joined by our guests and the other chiefs when we return. Welcome to this Thursday edition of The Chiefs. I'm Ed Lingao. Joining us later is Ana Marie Pamintuan of the Philippine Star. Now, later in the show, we will also have 2021 SEA Games gold medalist Carlos Yulo and EJ Obiena to talk about their experience in the event. But for now, to discuss the looming food crisis, joining us is Agriculture Secretary William Dar. Sir, magandang gabi and thank you for joining us. Welcome back.
And
You said in an interview that there's a looming food crisis in the second half of this year. could you qualify that for us? Kasi when people hear food crisis, pang-panic yung dating. What exactly do you mean by a food crisis, and how bad could it be?
Well, Ed, let me clarify, because based on our analysis and based on the developments obtaining now in the world, talagang may pagbabagya or may impending food crisis. Para lang maitaas po natin yung consciousness ng liderato, ng mga decision makers, ng incoming administration, lahat, ang publiko, para there must be a whole of society approach to mitigate and talagang manage itong pull out ng COVID-19 pandemic, including that of the Ukraine war and many
Yes, sir.
other developments obtaining in the world. So yun po ang objective po natin, kasi kung hindi natin ilalabas ito at darating na ito at hindi nakapaganda ang karamihan, ay mas pangit ang kinalabasan.
Yes, sir. We understand, of course, that you want preparation to begin as soon as possible. Pero, sir, just again, just the need to qualify exactly what you mean by a food crisis. How bad could it be? What kind of a crisis in the food sector?
Okay, maganda po yung tanong. So, there is this Ukraine war. And who are at war? It's between Russia and Ukraine, and of course other countries to some extent supporting. And ano yung participation nitong Russia, Ukraine? They are global food producers. They are producing a lot of corn, wheat, and also producing fertilizers, supplying the world. So that alone we will have to really consider what mitigating measures must be put in place. Ngayon, fertilizers na lang, tumaas na sobra because of this war. So we are not manufacturing fertilizers at all.
Yes, sir.
So pag pinabayaan natin at wala na lang gagawin, of course we have provided the mitigating measures. This has been presented 3 months ago in Malacanang, at inaproban na po ng Malacanang na presidente ang itong mga measures nahihanda na. Opo, so ang datos po natin, Ed and Ami, kung yung mga rice farmers ay kasi doon sa pagtaas, pagtriple ng presyo ng fertilizer na wala naman kagagawa ng bansa natin, it is a global phenomenon. So the analysis would indicate that if we don't sustain the level of fertilization, then there is a potential decrease of 1.1 million metric tons of palay. So that's a big chunk that will be potentially be lost.
Yes, sir. That's of current production, sir, no? That's 1.1 metric tons of palay to be lost to current production. But that's how many percent, sir? If you don't mind, sir, I'm just going to the details para we know how to contextualize yung crisis. So kung bawas ng 1.1 million metric tons out of ano pong total?
Ito po ay present level of rice production natin last year. Umabot na tayo sa 92%, 19.96 million metric tons. Eh kung hindi masustain ito at bumaba ng 1.1 million metric tons,
That's 1/20th.
Talagang that will go down to lower 90% sufficiency.
Pero Secretary, you're also warning about food crisis sa lahat ng klase. Are you talking about supply or prices? Kasi ang alam naman natin na merong supply chain disruptions, no? Pero ano ba yung mas bigger concern yung, or is it both supply and prices? Kasi ang sabi ng European Union magpo-produce naman, maghahanap daw sila ng ibang sources ng supply, pati yung fuel requirements nila, di ba?
Dito po, uumpisan po yung pagtaas ng prices. Then, correspondingly, the supply, kung hindi ka makaproduce enough, then the prices will be much, much higher. So these are directly interrelated.
Tapos sinabi niyo 1.1 million tons ang
Million
ma-apektuhan
metric.
ng rice. Yes, siyempre sigurado niyan tataas yung presyo. Eh sa ngayon pa lang, medyo hirap na tayo sa presyo, no? And in the meantime, the presumptive president, kasama dun sa campaign promise niya, is to bring down the retail price of rice hanggang 20 per kilo. How realistic is that considering your warning?
Now, accordingly, dun sa ginawa natin na analysis, if we go to 20 pesos per kilo of rice, there is going to be heavy subsidy to happen. Okay naman yung subsidy kung mayroon tayong sapat na pera. We have to shell out just for this activity, subsidizing rice at 20 pesos per kilo po ay kailangan ng bansa to shell out 150 billion pesos.
Yeah. Pero kung combined with more importation, halimbawa, gano'ng karaming rice import ang kakailanganin natin combined with subsidies, for example?
Ang palagi naman strategy natin, Ami and Ned, we prioritize the boosting of productivity of rice production dito sa bansa natin. So yun, boosting productivity of rice. Para the level of sufficiency must be higher, much higher. Para kunti na lang yung pupunuan mo na galing abroad. So nandyan pa rin yung combination of strategy na pataasin natin ang ani kung hanggat makaya natin. Nearer 100%. Pero marami pang requirements bago mangyari yan. So yung deficiency ay talagang i-augment mo. Ito nga yung pakay ng rice tarification law. Ngayon ang presyo ng bigas sa merkado is stabilized. Mayroon as low as 35 pesos, as high as 50, depending on the ability of the consumer, kung ano yung klaseng bigas na bibili niya, mayroon siyang choice. Yun ang kahalagaan ng rice tarification law.
Mm-hmm. Sir, if you don't mind, I'd like to go back to the looming food crisis. If this goes unaddressed in time, I'm trying to kasi put it in a way that's easily digestible and manageable for viewers. Ano magiging impact ng crisis na ito sa palengke? Sa mga namimili sa palengke, sa mga supermarket? Are we going to see lines? Are we going to see shortages? Will there be rationing? Will it go to that part? To that extent?
Well, ang aking measure doon nga ay palaguin pa natin yung local food production by using newer technologies para sustain po natin yung strides na nangyari sa record rice harvest for the last 2 years. And as I've said, kung hindi natin masustain yung fertilizer application,
yes, sir.
Bababa at bababa ng ani. Ito ay very simple, bababa.
Yes, sir. And by your calculation, it will go down by 1/20th of last year's rice output.
Yeah, that will from 19.96 million metric tons i-minus muna ngayon yung potential reduction na 1.1. So that's 18.8 lang million metric tons.
Yes, sir. In real terms, what is the impact of that sa palengke?
Well, tataas ang presyo mo kung wala kang supply, pero pinupunuan naman natin nga under rice tarification law yung pag-angkat sa ibang bansa.
Pero yung warning nyo, tatama yung crisis around July. Hindi ba? Mag-umpisa yun. Kung immediate measures, what can be done to mitigate?
Okay. Ito ngayon, meron tayong focus areas ng itong action plan para mitigate yung potential na mangyari na yan kung hindi ay talagang mangyari kung wala itong mga measures. Number one, yung increase the fertilizer subsidy budget. Para ngayon sa budget ng DA this year, we have more than just 3 billion pesos for fertilizer subsidy. Ang hiningi natin na additional subsidy for fertilizer this wet season planting ay 6 billion. At naghahanap na ang gobyerno additionally 6 billion. So there will be about more than 9 billion pesos to be given our farmers this wet season planting. Yun, dapat mayroon yan, otherwise bababa yung production natin.
Pero kung may supply chain disruption nga, saan nyo isusource yan?
Now, there are many other activities going on. Kagaya yung fertilizer na yan, talagang tumaas na yung presyo. So mayroon kaming negotiations with countries manufacturing fertilizers. Bilateral muna, government to government. But at the end of the day, pag na-firm up na yung negotiation na yan at nagkagustuhan na yung volume at saka yung presyo, ay ipapasa namin sa private sector who will do the buying from the other countries.
What about yung sa wheat? Dahil kailangan yun for our bread making, no? Yung mga millers natin, malaki. Although sinabi nyo na hindi natin napakalaki supplier naman ng Russia, pero affected nga yung supply chain. Magkakaproblema din ba tayo dyan?
Tama po. That's one thing I have again to highlight. Itong lahat ng perfect storm na ito, this perfect storm because of the convergence of the COVID-19 pandemic, yung impacts niya, yung high petroleum prices, now the Ukraine war, there is a perfect storm. As a result of that perfect storm, there is now the disruption of the global food supply chain. So yan will impact to whether you are able to buy also globally. And that's why whatever is possible that we can do locally to now up and really go to a higher level of food production, that will save us the day.
At this point, how capable are we to deal with the perfect storm?
We are, basta you bring in various measures so that handling a big issue such as fertilizer ay at the end of the day, mayroon kang sapat na fertilizer that will be properly distributed through voucher system for the farmers of the country. So, ganon. The other measures, me and Ed, on top of the additional fertilizer subsidy na ibibigay natin, yung urban and peri-urban agriculture must be enhanced. Diba, itong last 2.5 years under the COVID-19 pandemic, talagang we campaigned hard and we are succeeding in terms of now more households in the metropolis going for planting in their backyards, in their rooftops, in vacant spaces, in schools. Lahat yun, karamihan na naging plantito, plantita. So gusto natin yan madagdagan pa ng pagpupursige because of the very idea na if you can produce your food in your own backyard, in your own rooftops, in your own vacant space in the village, then the more that we can really cope up with this potential situation. So ito yung isang we are asking 1 billion pesos additionally to really campaign more and give seedlings para may tanim o may doon naman sa small ruminants or poultry ay may maalagahan at aquaponics pwede rin dito sa mga urban areas. Now the third focus area under this plan program part 2, yun na ang pangalan ng ating program framework, ay itong local feeds production. Alam niyo, tumaas din ang presyo ng mga raw materials, feed wheat, name it corn, and many other raw materials for feed formulation. Ay talagang mayroon naman mga local raw materials. So yun na, tinitingnan na natin. At we need additionally 1 billion pesos to do that. Now, the other last two focus areas, itong aquaculture and fishery, dapat paigtingin pa yung aquaculture para mas mataas po ang fish supply para sa merkado. And we need 1 billion for that also. And the last part of this action plan, yung food mobilization. You know, where provinces are producing more than enough for their requirement, then we will mobilize food from those provinces to areas na mangangailangan ng food supply.
Yes, sir. Sir, I understand we're already among the top 5 importers of wheat in the country. If we're not yet there, we're getting there. But it turns out that we're not importing wheat specifically for bread production, pero for feed.
That's what I was saying, Ed. Feed wheat
Yes, sir.
is substituting corn because
Yes, sir.
we only produce 60% of the corn.
Yes, sir.
That's being used in the livestock industry.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. With that-
Tinututukan namin yan para mas mataas pa yung local corn production.
Yes, sir. But with that in mind, my question is this: given the fact that a big chunk of the market for wheat comes from Russia and Ukraine. I know we do most of our imports from the US, pero siyempre kabit-kabit yan eh. Kung may cut sa supply ng Russia and Ukraine ng wheat, may impact yan doon sa supply and prices ng wheat from the US. And how will that affect, or how is that affecting our feed supply, and connected to that, how does that affect our stability, our food stability in terms of animals, livestock?
Yes, that's why mayroon ng mga iba't ibang sources naman ng protein within the country. At yun na po yung pinopromote at we are scaling up the use kagaya sa livestock and poultry feed requirement. We will have now to tap yung coconut byproduct that can be properly utilized to be part of the feeds for the livestock and poultry.
Yes,
So
sir.
lahat yon, we have really to tap the various sources of raw materials available in the country para hindi tayo magkulang.
Yes, sir. What I'm trying to ask is ano yung projected impact nitong conflict sa Russia and Ukraine doon sa ating supply ng livestock, given the possibility of less supply of feed wheat or wheat feed?
Now, true, there will be to some extent kung hindi tayo gagalaw. I mean, lahat ng involved in the industry. So we really have to harness what are the technologies available, what are the protein sources available. So talagang magbalat buto tayong lahat.
Secretary, linawin ko lang, no? You're asking for 1 billion for your plant. Tapos 1 billion for backyard livestock propagation and another 1 billion for aquaculture promotion. Tama ba yun?
Let me clarify, Ami, para mas malinawan. On top of the present budget of the Department of Agriculture, 85.5 billion, at nire-realign na natin yan para dito sa focus areas, humihingi pa tayo sa apat na bagay. Is that fertilizer, additional fertilizer subsidy, 20 billion para sa buong taon additionally, but we are only asking the release this wet season planting of about 6 billion. Okay, so 1 billion each for urban and peri-urban agriculture, that's 1 billion. Yung local feeds formulation and production, that's 1 billion. Aquaculture and fisheries, additionally 1 billion. And food mobilization. So 24 billion po yung additional request natin on top of our present budget.
Ano po sabi ni Secretary Dominguez? Baon na tayo sa utang Do we have enough money?
That's true. Napag-usapan na 3 months ago in a Malacanang meeting po. At ang mahal na Pangulo ay may strong commitment. So si Secretary Dominguez ngayon naghahanap ng pera para makarelease na sila ang national government ng 6 billion pesos. Nag-uusap na po kami.
So sigurado na yung 6 billion.
Yun po ang commitment ng national government for this wet season planting.
What about the rest? Yung mga hinihingi nyo? Yung iba-ibang sector?
Ginagamit po namin na itong ni-realign namin na budget ng DA habang naghihintay po kami yung 4 na bilyon.
Magkakaroon kaya tayo ng additional utang o sakasakali to finance our food security?
Well, there are many ways to fund source itong additional requirements. Of course, isa yung kung mayroon bang pwedeng i-realign sa existing national budget. I don't know if that is possible. Number 2, isang meeting sinabi ng mahal na Pangulo ay why not the presidential contingency fund, some parts of that? And or another approach ay kagaya sa COVID-19 pandemic, mayroon special budget, may bayanihan 1, may bayanihan 2. Sana kung ganun po ay para mas mayroon funding source na properly budgeted, allocated by Congress.
Hindi ba kayo hingi ng greater participation ng local government units? Kasi mas malaki na yung kanilang ngayon, di ba? Yung revenue allotment nila under the Mandalas ruling. It started this year.
Well, that is always a part of our strategy. Na yung naman national government subsidy, national budget for agriculture under our management ay hindi po sapat. So partnership yan palagi with local government units. Ginagamit naman nila para doon sa programa natin. Yung directional plans ay yung 1D reform agenda. So I hope much better this time kasi with this potential situation ay mas dadagdagan pa ng mga local government units yung ambag nila dito po sa food production ng bansa.
Well,
Sige,
sir,
last na lang. Kung sino pwedeng mag-avail ng yung 1 billion for plant. Kahit ba ordinaryong household pwedeng mag-apply dyan? Saka ano yung limit na pwede?
Dito po sa Metro Manila, mayroon tayong na-assign na agencies Bureau of Plant Industry, isa, yung Agricultural Training Institute, at mayroon kami rin national program na ng urban and peri-urban agriculture. So may network na sila and they can request support in terms of seeds and other planting materials or other interventions kagaya ng kung gusto nila yung livestock and poultry na pwede doon sa metro areas. Dapat hindi naman yung kagaya dito sa Quezon City, they have already banned livestock, piggeries. So we have to be guided by that accordingly.
Yes. Sir, one more, sir. You volunteered to stay over sa Department of Agriculture in the next administration. I'm wondering if there's been anybody who's gotten in touch with you, if there have been any talks with the incoming administration as far as your possible participation is concerned.
Ang sagot ko po yun ay bago lahat ay sabi ko, I am here presenting myself to be of service to the country under the incoming administration. And that have been there, discussed with them. So naghintay na lang tayo kung tayo ay imbitahin.
Okay. Maraming salamat po, Secretary William Dar of the Department of Agriculture. Thank you for joining us, sir, and ingat po.
Thank you,
Salamat po.
Secretary.
Salamat po, Ed and Ami. Maraming salamat.
Thank you, sir.
Good evening.
We will just pause for a break, so please stay with us. The Chiefs will be right back. Welcome back to the Chiefs here on One News. And now joining us are 2021 Oh, baka 2022. Southeast Asian Games gold medalists Ernest John E.J. Obiana and Carlos Caloy Yulo. Of course, E.J. Obiana won the gold medal for the men's pole vaulting, and Carlos Yulo won 5 gold medals and 2 silver medals in multiple events in gymnastics. Good evening. Magandang gabi sa inyong dalawa at welcome sa Chiefs.
Congratulations!
Congratulations!
Thanks, salamat po.
Ang galing-galing. O, di ba? Parang, nagulat lahat. Ang dami nating nauwing medalya. Ngayon, para kayong si Italiano. Joke lang yun. Tell us, anong pakiramdam? Sorry, medyo generic yung tanong, no? Pero gusto kong simulan sa inyo eh. Ilabas yung, yung saloobin ninyo. Anong pakiramdam ng nakakuha ng mga gintong yan? Carlos, ikaw muna.
Ako muna po. Sige po. Siyempre po, sobrang saya po na ganun po yung naging resulta ng competition po. Sobrang lumabas po yung mga tinraining ko and happy po ako sa naging result. Pero siyempre po, hindi po din po doon nagtatapos yung goal ko. Medyo may mga konting mistake pa din po. Kaya pag-uwi po talaga, like, sa Sabado po, like, magpa-practice na po ulit ako para
ano ba yan?
mas maging pulido po yung performance ko po.
Sa lagay na yun, may mistakes ka pa.
Opo, meron po, lalo na po sa pommel horse po, nalaglag po kasi ako doon. Hindi ko naman po kayang mag-gold doon sa routine ko ngayon, pero ayoko lang po yung magkamali kasi all-arounder po yung lalaroan ko sa Olympics. Kaya tinuturing ko pong Olympics lahat po yung ng competition na sasalihan ko po.
Mm-hmm. Si EJ naman. EJ, you're coming to us live from Italy, no? Tapos si Carlos is coming to us live from Japan. EJ, sige.
Yes,
Go.
po. I mean, parehas ng halos. So, same thing. Still a lot of things to work on. I'm very relieved. Nakahinga na ako ng medyo mag-aanggang na after that delivery. Everybody was expecting gold for me and was able to deliver it and with the bonus of new games record. Well, yeah, finally be able to deliver. It's an accomplishment. And yeah, same as Kaloy, I'm back here in Italy, back in training. The moment I land 3 hours after, I was already back in training. So, life goes on for us athletes.
Ganyan ba talaga yun? Ganyan
But
ba
it's
talaga?
amazing.
I guess.
It's even more amazing na nakakuha kayo ng in the middle of the pandemic, How was it like training during all these lockdowns? Malaki ba yung impact dun sa mga routines ninyo? O okay lang naman.
Ako po ba or si Kaloy po?
Mauna ka naman siguro, EJ.
Okay po. So sa akin naman po, wala masyadong nagbago kasi I was in south of Italy. Luckily, yung kung saan masama yung tinamaan nung COVID was actually sa north of Italy near Milan. So I was okay. It got disrupted po noong 2020 for 2 months. Wala po kaming training ground. Sinara po yung training center namin dito. Luckily, yung training partner ko po from Brazil, he has a big house, so he has a garden. Doon po kami nagtitraining, doing as much as we can with the situation that we're dealt with po. So, yeah, it affected, but not as much as I think everybody thought.
But you had surgery as well, no? How did that affect your training?
Yeah, wasn't ideal. Yeah, I had a back injury at that time. Yung facet joints ko po were having some issues, so I needed to undergo a surgery at that time. But I mean, it all worked out, right? I mean, we got the medal, qualified for Olympics, and we were present there. Now I'm still active, so I guess God has a plan and was able to, make it work.
Yeah. Kaloy?
Sa akin naman po, bukas po yung dito, yung mga gyms po. Siguro mga 3 weeks lang po nag-lockdown tapos nakabalik na po agad. So, hindi po malaking Hindi po naging sagabal yung lockdown sa akin. Kaya tuloy-tuloy po yung practice ko.
Wala naman sa inyong na-COVID sa inyong dalawa. Wala sa inyong nagkasakit.
Wala po, wala naman po.
Okay.
Ano po?
And you're fully vaccinated, ha?
Yes,
Ako
yes.
po.
Fully vaccinated. Yes.
I think what boggles the minds, sa tingin ko lang yung talaga nakakamangha at nakakabilib, kakapanalo pa lang ninyo, back to training na kayo for the next competition. Daig nyo pa yung politiko na matapos mag-eleksyon, kailangan ng mga kampanya. Di ba? Sorry, yun lang ang reference point namin at this point dahil kakatapos ng eleksyon. Pero alam niyo ibig ko sabihin na hindi kayo yung tipong we will rest on our laurels for a year and enjoy life and enjoy the gold. No, you go back to work agad. Di ba? I think that's amazing. I think that's a lesson for, di ba? I think magandang leksyon yan sa mga kababayan natin, di ba? EJ or Kaloy?
I guess
Okay.
so. Sorry. I guess so. Unfortunately, our careers, are quite short as an athlete. We have those times to relax when we're like maybe 40, 50. And right now, we need to strike while the iron is hot and train as much as we can. And unfortunately, Paris is right around the corner.
There you go.
Ilang buwan na lang, literal. So we need to really dive into it and hopefully follow the track of what he did in Paris.
Kaloy.
Si Kaloy.
Kaloy.
Gaya nga po ng sinabi ni Kuya EJ, pwede naman po namin ma-enjoy yung buhay namin sa pagtas po ng career namin. Sobrang ikli lang po talaga kasi.
Yeah,
And yung Olympics po, pag inisip mo, parang 2 years pa siya, pero sobrang bilis lang po ng time and ng araw. Kapag wala po kaming ginawa, kakainin po talaga. Kaya, nakapag-enjoy naman po after competition kahit isang gabi or isang araw. Pero syempre kapag malaki yung goal mo po, kailangan mo mas pag-isipan kung ano yung gagawin mo po. And mas mahalaga po talaga para sa amin yung practice. Kaya mamaya na po yung enjoyment and kailangan po namin mag-grind po.
Medyo maiksi nga yan 2 years, no? And talagang top prize yan, kung makukuha nyo. And in the meantime, we have a new administration coming in. Is there anything in particular na gusto nyong tulong from the government for your training, for the Philippine team? Kaloy, mauna ka naman.
Sa ngayon po, hindi ko po masasabi kasi ngayon po nasusuportan naman po ako. Fully supported naman po ako. Hindi ko po alam kung ano po yung kulang. Baka sa susunod na lang po siguro ako, kung ano po yung makita kung kulang po.
EJ.
Sa akin po, hopefully I'll be back with the team. Hopefully be back to the national team and get my monthly allowances again. And hopefully I get my funding for the year. I haven't received it yet. So hopefully that will be something of a future thing that hopefully that the next administration can help us athletes to fulfill our job in the best of our abilities.
Kalo, you also got help from private sector, no? For example, from MVP.
Yes po.
Siguro, sa tingin mo, mas maganda kung mas marami pa. Do you think we still need more private sector participation? Sa tingin mo, mas marami pa dapat na tumulong? O kaya na yun ng gobyerno at this point?
Hindi ko po alam, pero syempre sa mga teammates ko din po, gusto ko din po silang matulungan kagaya ko. And sana po, matulungan din sila at makapag-practice din po para ma-experience po nila yung magandang environment po and makapag-practice po talaga ng mabuti po.
Well, speaking of the environment, sa tingin nyo, ano pa yung mga kailangan natin for training athletes from a young age? Kasi sa ibang bansa, alam ko yung mga ibang gobyerno batang-bata pa yung mga estudyante, nag-headhunting na sila to develop athletes. Sa tingin nyo, yung meron ba tayong ganung programa, EJ?
I think meron naman po. From my NSA, I think we do have grassroots programs po. But I think for me, in my humble opinion, of course, Philippines are not the US of A, and it's not Europe, it's not these, how do you say, well-off countries. So we need to, speaking of the private sectors as well, I think it's very nice, that we have sports foundations that are helping the elite athletes and also the grassroots programs. It's just, as I said in the column that I wrote before, it takes a village, and the more people that actually helps, the less burden it is to the government to actually shoulder the expenses of our training. Kaloy knows it. It's not cheap to raise an Olympian, and it's of course a very welcome idea that the private sectors would also contribute and help the Philippines in general, not just the government, the Philippines as a country.
Kaloy?
Hello po.
Kaloy, you think meron nga tayo, sapat na yung programa natin to develop athletes from a young age?
Feeling ko mas may iangat pa po kasi di ko po alam exactly kung ano po yung meron dito sa Japan na wala po sa Pinas, pero kung paano po sila magturo sa mga bata and kung paano po supportahan yung mga atleta nila. Kung ipagkukumpara po talaga, mas angat po yung level nila dito and mas tinitignan nila yung kung paano makaka-perform yung mga atleta ng mas angat sa mga ibang countries po. Ayun po yung siguro ding wala sa atin.
Talk to us about your motivation. What motivates you? What gets you going and what keeps you going? For example, EJ, bago ka tumalon, bago mag-pole vault, anong dumadaan sa isip mo? Yung mukha ba ng coach mo na galit pag hindi mo matalon yun ng maigi? O yung nanay mo, o some special someone, or the flag, or whatever. Talk to us about your motivations. What makes you go for that gold?
For this time, I think it comes from me, from deep inside. Kailangan ko malaman the reason why am I competing and why am I doing this. And, of course, the biggest motivator for me is Paris. Really is that, 2024, I want some kind of redemption and on my poor performance in the Tokyo Olympics. So that is one of the biggest motivator. But at the same time, each competition is different po. So iba-iba rin po yung approach ko in every competition. It varies. For SEA Games, I just wanted to deliver and perform. I was very motivated that I was able to carry the flag, and it would really be a shame for me to not win a gold and carry the flag in the opening ceremony. So that pressure actually driven me a little bit to actually, hey, I need to win this, and that was my motivation going into SEA Games. And anything else is extra and just a bonus.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kaloy.
Kaloy, yung motivation mo, yung girlfriend, trending dito sa Manila.
Walang booking,
Siyempre, you're both young,
Nambubuking ka
Of course,
naman.
you have personal relationships na medyo mahirap-hirap if you're undergoing training. Pero kayo, binisita ka pa, Kaloy, sa Vietnam, trending dito sa Manila. Can you tell us more about it? Kumusta yung impact neto sa mga personal relationships?
Actually, hindi ko po talaga gusto paano po ba ipalabas sa social media. Gusto ko low-key lang po kami dalawa. Pero ayun na nga po, wala na din pong magagawa. Siyempre, super happy po ako na nakita na din kami. And siyempre, supportive siya. And sa lahat ng gusto ko, yung goal ko po, nag-a-adjust din po siya para doon. And I'm really grateful po na meron akong partner na sinusuportahan po ako ng ganun. Pero syempre po yung motivation ko po is Olympics po palaging andun po yung binabalik ko po yung sarili ko nung 2020 Olympics po, binabalik ko yung sarili ko doon, yung utak ko kung paano ako nag-perform doon kasi ayun po yung pinaka mabigat na scenario na na na-experience ko po sa buong buhay ko. And mahalaga siya sa akin dahil doon po ako nagki-keep going. Ayokong maging magkaparehas na naman tong taon na to sa taon na yun. Yung performance ko po, ayoko na po siyang maulit-ulit. And ayun po yung iniisip ko habang ginagawa ko po yung routines ko po na papaano kung Olympics ngayon. Gagayahin ko ba yung performance ko nung nakaraan? Like, syempre, sinasabi ko po sa sarili ko, syempre, mas gagalingan ko ngayon. Hindi. Palagi kong iniisip na Olympics talaga po, araw-araw.
EJ, is there enough room for personal relationships in your case?
Yeah, luckily I have someone as well. Ang maganda, I think she's also an athlete, so she understands.
Okay.
Like Kalo, she supports me, and that it helps. It definitely helps. Our life are very mundane, structured, and repetitive. Having someone definitely ease that at least may buhay naman kami sa labas nung at least for Kaloy sa labas ng gym and sa labas ng track.
So it's more inspiration, not a distraction.
Yes po.
Yeah.
More inspiration siya.
So,
Okay.
EJ, yun talaga yung motivation mo o or am I presuming too much?
Oh, may intriga.
You don't have to answer that. So what happens next? Back to work na? Ganun na lang? Parang strike while the iron is hot, sabi nga ni EJ. Sorry, EJ, sige ka na. So, back to work
Yeah,
na?
I mean, the same goes. SEA Games is one of the competition that pinagandaan ko po for this year. But then there's another one right around the corner in less than 10 days. So I'll be competing again. So I need to train, and then after that, I have another competition the next following months. And you have the World Championship for us this year. So medyo puno po. So while there's still a competition out there that I need to join, I can't relax and just chill and, as you said, enjoy life a little bit. We'll do that when we have time.
Okay. Kaloy, ikaw.
Sa akin naman po kasi may competition po ako next month po, which is Asian Championships po. Kailangan ko pong mag-qualify po doon para maka-compete po ako sa World Championships. So, wala din time pong mag-relax. Kaya next time na lang po siguro, kahit sa December na po siguro.
Kapag ganyan medalist na kayo, ang tingin sa inyo ng iba, mentors na kayo, do you have any word for fellow athletes who are also aspiring to become medalists? EJ?
I think you just need to focus and train hard. I think what's very clear today between me and Kaloy, I think this is our first interview together. It's just like we have the kind of similar approach. We're back to training like right after the competition. It's just that pinpoint focus on what you want to do. I think it would bring you to different places, and it would be detrimental to actually have that drive and that goal that fuels your everyday actions.
Kaloy?
Sa akin naman po, malaman po nila kung ano po talaga yung gusto nila sa sports nila, kung ano po yung goal nila. Kapag nalaman po nila yan, wala na lang po yung sakripisyo and yung araw-araw na practice kasi magiging po siya, daan siya para makuha mo kung ano po talaga yung gusto mo kasi. Ayun po yung para sa akin po.
Okay, we'd like to say thank you to both of you. Carlos Yulo coming to us live from Japan, and EJ Obiena coming to us live from Italy. Congratulations. Thank you so much for bearing the hopes and dreams of the Filipino people on your
Congratulations.
shoulders.
Thank you so much, Lars.
Congratulations at ingat parate, and good luck in your next adventures.
Yes.
Salamat po.
Ingat parate.
Thank you po.
Thank you.
That'll be all for this edition of The Chiefs. We hope what is discussed here will keep the conversation going. Now, before we go, a reminder to our viewers, mask on, wash hands, and stay safe, Philippines. I'm Ed Lingao.
I'm Ami Pamintuan of the Philippine Star, and we are One News.